Hello friends, I'm Dr. James, retired now, but after 40 years in medicine, my heart is still right here, helping people like you live healthier, more comfortable lives. And today, I want to talk about something that might just change the way you look at your dinner plate. Now let me ask you this, have your knees felt stiff lately? Do your ankles swell in the evening? Or maybe your hands just don't move the way they used to. You might chalk it up to age. And yes, aging does change things. But what if I told you that some of the most common vegetables, the very ones you've been told are good for you, may actually be contributing to your joint pain? It's true. I've seen it again and again in my patients, and even in dear friends, people who were eating what they thought was a healthy diet, only to find themselves living with unnecessary pain, stiffness, and swelling. Today, we'll talk about 5 vegetables that are known to trigger inflammation in many older adults. You'll learn why they affect the body this way, who tends to be most sensitive to them, and, most importantly, what you can do to feel better, move easier, and live with less discomfort. So grab a warm drink, maybe a chamomile tea or something that soothes you, and let's settle in together. Because what we're about to explore might explain a lot about the aches and pains you've been feeling, and how a few simple food changes could help. And if what I share resonates with you, if you find this helpful, please take a moment to leave a comment below, even just a one, to let me know you're here. Or share this with someone in your family who's been struggling. Your small action could be the reason someone else finds relief, too. Now, let's take a closer look at what's really happening on your plate. Part 1: Tomatoes, the hidden trigger in your salad. And she wasn't the only one. Over the years, I've heard similar stories. A man in Arizona who thought his swollen knees were just old football injuries, until he cut back on raw tomatoes. A retired schoolteacher in Oregon who stopped eating her daily tomato salad and noticed, within days, she could open jars again without wincing. It's not magic, it's chemistry. Solanine is the plant's natural defense. But in some of us, it triggers our own body to go on defense too. That means more inflammation, more swelling, and more stiffness than we need to live with. Now, this doesn't mean everyone needs to throw out their tomatoes. If you eat them and feel fine, great, enjoy them. But if you're someone who wakes up with tight joints, or your hands throb after dinner, it may be worth trying a short break. Just 2 weeks. Pay attention to how you feel. And don't worry, you don't have to give up flavor. Roasting tomatoes reduces their solanine levels significantly. So if you love tomato-based dishes, go for stewed sauces, homemade soups, or slow-roasted cherry tomatoes. They tend to be gentler on the joints. Our bodies are always speaking to us. We just have to listen. So, are tomatoes secretly bothering you? Try a little experiment. And if your hands feel less stiff, your knees more flexible, well, then you've just taken the first step toward healing through food. Part 2: White potatoes, comfort food with a hidden cost. And I'll tell you something else. He wasn't the only one who saw real change from such a small shift. Another patient, a 68-year-old woman who loved making homemade potato soup every weekend, came to me with chronic knee pain. She had tried everything, anti-inflammatories, cortisone shots, even acupuncture. But nothing seemed to bring lasting relief. I asked her, gently, to try removing white potatoes from her diet for just a short time, 2 weeks. She looked at me like I'd asked her to give up chocolate. But she trusted me. And after just 10 days, she called, surprised. "Doctor," she said, "I walked down the stairs this morning without holding the railing." That's the power of identifying your personal triggers. You see, white potatoes, especially when overcooked, fried, or sprouting, don't just carry solanine. They also spike your blood sugar, which can fuel inflammation in a different way. That's a double hit on aging joints. If you love that warm, starchy comfort, don't worry, sweet potatoes are an excellent alternative. They're rich in beta-carotene, gentle on the digestive system, and naturally anti-inflammatory. You can bake them, mash them, even air fry them with a little olive oil and cinnamon for a cozy treat that won't leave your ankles swollen. So ask yourself, are potatoes helping you feel nourished or just nostalgic? There's no harm in taking a little break and seeing how your body responds. And if you notice a change, less puffiness, less stiffness, then you'll know. Comfort food doesn't have to come at the cost of your comfort. Part 3. And what's remarkable is how quickly her body responded once she gave it a break. She told me, "Doctor, I thought the pain was just part of getting older, but now I know it was my eggplant dinners all along." See, eggplant contains compounds that can subtly interfere with the way your body processes calcium, and calcium is essential not just for bone strength, but for smooth muscle contraction and nerve signaling. When that balance is thrown off, some people begin to feel tightness, tingling, even joint stiffness that seems to come out of nowhere. What makes it tricky is that it doesn't happen immediately, it's more of a slow burn. You eat eggplant on Tuesday, and by Thursday, your knees are aching. Most people never make the connection. I remember a man in his 70s who loved baba ganoush, that creamy roasted eggplant spread. But he started waking up with numb fingers and tight wrists. It wasn't until he paused the eggplant that things cleared up. He was stunned. So if you've been experiencing mysterious joint pain, especially in your hands, wrists, or shoulders, it might be worth removing eggplant for a few weeks. You don't have to give up flavorful meals, though. Grilled zucchini has a similar texture, and portobello mushrooms can give you that rich, meaty bite without the inflammatory aftershock. Remember, your body speaks in signals, not words. Swelling, pain, stiffness, these are its way of saying, something isn't sitting right. And often, we don't need more medication, we just need to listen and adjust. So, what if one small change could give you back your ease of movement? Isn't it worth finding out? Part 4. Peppers. Not always so sweet. And here's the thing, she wasn't eating fast food or processed junk. She was eating fresh vegetables, doing what she thought was right. But for her body, those peppers were like pouring fuel on a fire she didn't even realize was burning. You see, capsaicin isn't the enemy, but it's a stimulant. It increases blood flow, irritates the lining of the gut in sensitive individuals, and in people with underlying inflammation, like osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or even IBS, it can act like a silent agitator. I've seen it happen many times. A gentleman in Texas told me he used hot sauce on everything. "It's the only way I can taste anything," he joked. But when his knuckles started swelling and he couldn't grip his fishing rod, he finally agreed to try going without peppers for a couple of weeks. The results shocked him. Less stiffness, better digestion, even fewer headaches. For some, it's not just chili peppers. Even the bright, sweet bells can be hard on the system when eaten raw or too frequently. It all comes down to how your gut is doing and how your immune system reacts. If your digestive lining is already compromised, what we call leaky gut, compounds in peppers can slip through the cracks and trigger immune overreactions that show up in your joints. So here's what I tell folks. You don't have to give up flavor, you just have to be strategic. Try roasted carrots for sweetness, ginger and turmeric for warmth, even a splash of lemon for brightness. You might be amazed at how much flavor you can create without the after-dinner pain. And if you're wondering whether peppers are affecting you, just take a break. 10 days. That's all it takes to see a difference for many people. Because sometimes, it's not about giving up the foods we love forever. It's about loving our bodies enough to pause and listen. Part 5. Spinach, the superfood with a catch. And that's what I want you to take away from this. Not fear, not guilt, but awareness. Spinach has a beautiful reputation. It's packed with iron, vitamin K, folate, and yes, in many cases, it's a wonderful part of a healthy diet. But like every food, it isn't good for everyone all the time. especially not if your body struggles with oxalates, those natural compounds that can, in the wrong environment, crystallize and lodge where they shouldn't. I had another patient, a 72-year-old man from Wisconsin, who'd switched to a green-heavy diet after his doctor warned him about cholesterol. Every day, a spinach salad for lunch, a green smoothie for dinner. But instead of feeling energized, he started having deep, pulsing pain in his hips and feet. He thought it was arthritis. The truth? His body was overloaded with oxalates. We made one simple change, swapped spinach for baby romaine, added a bit of dandelion greens, and tossed in some fresh herbs for flavor. Within 2 weeks, the pain eased. Within a month, he was walking farther than he had in years. See, oxalate buildup doesn't always show up on a test. But your joints can feel it. Your kidneys can feel it. Even your circulation can become sluggish. If you've ever had a kidney stone, or if you've been told you have gout, high uric acid, or any autoimmune joint condition, spinach may be doing more harm than good. But the good news is, you've got options. Arugula has a gentle peppery flavor and is low in oxalates. Bok choy is excellent in soups and stir-fries. Romaine is crunchy and refreshing, perfect for salads and wraps. You don't have to sacrifice your health to stay healthy. You just have to stay curious. So if you're eating spinach because you think you should, but your joints are screaming for relief, give it a rest. Try something new. And if you notice your body thanking you with less pain, less swelling, and more ease, well, that's your answer right there. So now that you've heard the 5 culprits, take a moment. Not just to remember the names, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, peppers, spinach, but to think about your own plate, your own habits. Do any of these vegetables show up regularly in your meals? Maybe in that creamy casserole you've made for years, or the salad you thought was keeping you strong. How do you feel afterward? Do your legs feel heavy when you stand up from the couch? Do your hands ache when you reach for your morning coffee? Does your body feel stiffer than it should? Because sometimes the answer isn't in another prescription bottle, or another cream, or another test result. Sometimes the answer is right there in front of you, quietly sitting on your plate, meal after meal. And the good news is, once you see it, you can change it. And when you change it, everything else starts to shift too. So don't be afraid to listen to your body. It's not being dramatic. It's being wise. And it's trying to help you come back to balance, one meal at a time.